Okay. Hello. Group number 4. Group number 4. Group number 4.
Alright, so you've picked this reading because you're operating in the energy of intelligence, just like the magpie. So for others, it's like, alright, let's just think about the magpie for a second. Have you ever been attacked by a magpie? It's not fun. But the thing is, you're the magpie. You're the magpie in this reading. So the magpie sits high up on the perch, in the tree. Wherever they see fit is comfortable and free from attack. Now the thing with magpies is they're intelligent beings. Even if you look at their external, they're black and white, right? Which means they embody balance. They're a contrasting being. Yet they're living in the middle of they're living in the middle of places, perhaps, where they shouldn't be. That's how we feel when we're being attacked. But the magpie high up in their perch is so intelligent because they have the height of sight. So this gives them intelligence. This makes them intelligent because when you're so high up, you can see everything that's going to happen before time occurs. So if you're up high in a building and you're watching this car over here pull up at the lights and this pedestrian about to cross the road and a scooter, someone on an e-scooter scooting past. Now you notice the light turned green. This car's starting to move, but the car in the other lane behind him had only seen the green light, so he's traveling. He's traveling at the speed limit. This car is aware of their surroundings. You, being the magpie up high, you can calculate what's going to happen. At this other guy moving at 60 miles per hour or 60 kilometers per hour, straight through that green light. Now he's not doing anything wrong. The light's green, he's got clear of passage. But what he doesn't see is the scooter that's coming out of here and the pedestrian who's just crossed the road, right? And all the other things that are going on. What happens? Now, depending on where your thought process went then, did the car hit someone? Or did the other car speed up and they had a rally race and everyone was aware because they heard the engines rev and they got out of the way and they started cheering them on because it was just a mad skid? But the magpie sees all of this. You're the magpie. Now the magpie swoops down to swoop the pedestrian in the head because the pedestrian is frightened of magpies. But if the magpie hadn't have swooped down and attacked that pedestrian could have incurred another a more severe life-threatening result. So it's the test of time, everything happening at once, and how you perceive the outcome. Is that what intelligence is? Now, the magpie could have just stayed on his perch, and it wasn't even mating season. So he didn't have a baby, and he didn't have a missus to look after. He was just chilling on his perch. He's most likely waiting for a worm, but instead of finding a worm, he's attacked in what you thought was a negative attack, had quite possibly have saved your life. So this is like the spectrum of the magpie. That's like the line of sight. the magpie or spirit is saying, hello, I'm here. Now for the person, the pedestrian crossing the road and who had been swooped by the magpie, they feel they're feeling invaded. This frickin' magpie come and swoop me, crack me one in the head. Now I'm bleeding. I don't even feel like going to work now because I'm feeling dizzy. I thought I was seeing butterflies before, now dragonflies are on me. But in the beauty of the magpie, the magpie saying, speed up so you can slow down later. So, magpie has foresight. You've picked this reading because either you are embodying a clearer line of sight, or you're broadening your intelligence. Now, I like to pull 2 cards because with negative goes positive. You can't have good without bad and bad without good, and I'll explain what I mean. So, magpie is alone. But little do we know he's got a family and bubs, and he's probably looking for one, and next mating season we'll probably prepare for him to attack again, right? So this is you. Showing your face when you're ready, when you need to, when someone needs your help, and then you sit back on your perch. Now, this is like spiritual energy. This is like person energy, human. 4, look closer. She or he is not lonely. Now, if you see the owl there see the owl on her shoulder, perched there? She's not alone. She's also drinking tea. So in this sense, when you tap into yourself, you're tapping into spirit. Now, your experience gives you foresight of the past, which aligns you with your future. So looking at the burdens of the past, looking at tapping into the subconscious and working on your spirituality has brought you intelligence, although it's brought you closer to yourself and therefore to spirit. You've been able to align your heart with the line of sight, which means you're able to see clearly, and then tap into spirit's energy. So spirit's saying, hello, I'm here. Spirit doesn't want you to be threatened, because often when we have sorry, I'll just make sure this is recording. I did an hour recording before and it didn't record, so Spirit saying, look closer, look closer, look closer. There's so much more than meets the eye. So don't feel threatened because you're in that self energy, but this is primal energy for spirit and you to engage. Okay. When you engage with spirit, when you engage with yourself, me, myself, I, you, yourself, you embody the energy of the healer. So, from external sources, when you tap into that energy, you feel you feel the electrical magnetic vibe that exists between you and spirit. And through this heart energy here, that gives me unconditional love. So when you have unconditional love for yourself, have unconditional patience and understanding for yourself, you're able to heal yourself. keep this card out as a part of the reading because I feel very strongly drawn to this heart energy. As the healer, we feel and see who needs healing around us because we're absorbing that negative energy. So as the healer, we embody the intelligence of converting emotions into logic. Now, when a healer goes to work, they're working on themselves to fix everyone else. So when a healer comes in contact with someone and they're very sensitive, the healer's sensitive to energies and they're very reciprocal to information. I feel like even though there's a sense of being alone with your alone emotional intelligence, there's a drift towards the magician and the emperor here. So for the energy to exist between intelligence and you as the healer, you need to accept that relationship with spirit and yourself is the ultimate hot and cold relationship. And what I mean by that is through the universe provides unconditionally. But if I break it down to something like a simple, or just let me think, like, okay, in order for us to breathe, let's just focus on one breath. Now, in order for me to survive off that one breath, I'm taking positive energy in to keep me enlightened to life, whereas I'm taking a breath of air from the universe, in which the universe has kindly provided for me to share the enlightenment and light with. Now, if we're breathing too much, we've received too much. And if we're not breathing enough, well, we're pretty close to darkness, aren't we? But what I mean is, a healer is able to reflect on the hard work, reflect on the inner child. They're okay with being and looking foolish, even though the first step to finding yourself is looking like the fool to others. There's a sense that the magpie here is very much overlooking the hard work and burdens and the very much all this, like, okay, so 10 of Wands here and 10 of Swords over there. So this is like end of cycle, end of struggle. You've made it. So there's a sense of you've overcome physical burdens, like maybe having to move around and move things around. Maybe you've had to do all the work. Maybe you've gone to a lot of resources and taken everything on in your experience, and you've carried all of that baggage with you. But at the end of the day, it's like you're still operating out of unconditional love in the heart space. So it's like this is what keeps you going. It's also a reminder that your hard work is paying off because, and you know this, and you're able to chill over a cup of tea because your hard work is your direct outcome and connection to spirit, to your enlightenment, to heightened awareness or changed perception, or that your perception and beliefs are true. So with intelligence, being the divine child, a child of the divine, we know that we carry all our burdens and our experience with us, but we must also remember that we are always the student. We are always reciprocating information to take in and learn anew. Now, for those healers who know this, they always operate out of a learning energy. A healer has to learn in order to treat the cause. Ten of Cups. All right, wow. Okay, so Ten of Wands. So Ten of Wands, you have overcome and good outcomes with regards to the work you've done in your subconscious, and because of that, your spirituality has risen to a new level. Being aware that always being the student makes us the teacher. And you've got the Ten of Cups here, so you're building good intentions with the universe through your unconditional love, and that's making you wiser. Other people will start to look to you because they can see that you're living in your means of abundance, which is this Ten of Cups here, so emotional fulfillment. You've fulfilled your physical tasks and learnt your lessons. You've learnt that keep learning is always going to help you bounce backward and forwards to never coming back to 1 again, because you're going from 0 to 10 constantly. And so to keep your emotions balanced, you're aligning with your ideal rhythm. So you're coming in and out of positive and negative, knowing that when you are being positive, accepting that a negative comes out of it. So be one with your inner self. Okay, so this reminds me of like when you do so good for the world all the time, like when you give. That was 4 goods. Give, right? So you being the 5th entity here, giving into all of these 4 good things, not only have you provided energy and experience into these 4 things, and they've all been all positive and very good, know that no good intention goes unpunished. I think that's the saying. I might have said it back to front, but we have to wear our achievements too. So where we give good, the negative energy has to be absorbed somewhere. So it's in the sense that you step out of yourself and into life, and you give the world this emotional fulfillment and all the work that you do. And then when you come back to self, you're having to find and process all that negativity because you've given out so much positivity. So therefore, for every 4 days work, you need 4 days rest. And in those 4 days, you spend 2 in the darkness, 1 coming towards the light, connecting with spirit, and then the 4th one, you're coming into logical terms of what those emotional downfalls were. So, and in coming out of that process, you're perceptualizing on the basis of, is this my energy, or is this the energy that I've converted for someone else? So when you give good out, you generally take bad back. And that's okay too, because that's the point of the healer. They're able to transmute bad and negativity into positive outcomes. So it's a better way of living and a better way of being. But to think that we're living in perfection all the time is ridiculous. Someone who's able to perfect life is able to come in and out of darkness. So the double owl energy here, this is what makes you wise. This is what feeds you your intelligence and makes you the healing guide. So it's got the genie in the bottle, and you've been working independently. So others are going to start looking to you to feel abundance because you're living in your energy. 1 here for independence. So it all starts with you. You make the mundane tasks feel magical, right? And when you're retreating into yourself, which means you're not retreating into yourself, it means that you're processing all these negative energies and finding a way to transmute it to the light, to therefore help others and heal them. So when you're tapping into yourself and exerting all that negativity, people expect you to keep giving good at the level that you were providing them with. So you're setting a level of expectation, and when you're retreating to yourself, they're feeling neglected. But you know that you can't wear this task because it's people need to understand as the healer, they are devoted to themselves. So when they fix and heal themselves and understand themselves, they are able to help everyone else. So Spirit's saying, I could be reaching out to two different types of healers here. Life with them feels like two colliding suns. Okay, so two colliding suns. 10 of Wands, spirituality. So as a healer, you carry the burden. 10 of Swords, life and death. You understand the cycles of life. The Emperor, creativity. Manifesting. Okay, so because of the work that you've done in your spiritual and subconscious space, and the burdens you've carried through your transformations of life and death, which means open and closing of energies, so friends you're no longer friends with, or people you no longer talk to, or jobs that you've left, like the doors that are closed, has given you this heightened sense of I'm able to manage my masculine energy over my feminine judgments. You might be also working on, so this is like very much because of the burdens you've tapped into your subconscious, which therefore has like sent you into this another universe or a space of abyss, so which gives me the sense of out-of-body experiences. You're only able to do this if you're in balance in all aspects of your life, by the way, aligned with ideal rhythms. So your masculine and feminine energy will be protected on the basis of your foundation. So all your work with spirit and healing is non-verbal, and it is in a sense expressive. So that means to me that there aren't words that really connect to what you do to heal. But this talks about moving in and out with intention and coming and going as you please. So you're needing to tap in and out of, say, being a human and then being a spiritual healer. When you're operating in your human energy, you're so curious about spirit, and then when you're in spirit's giving you all this information that you need to do and put work to as a human, and how that applies to the people around you. So the work that you're doing is part of being expressive. So I'm feeling like it's evolving, because we never always have all the answers. We're just discovering everything all the time, like being that constant student. So when I talk about MEDS, MEDS, so I've applied it through a few different concepts, but it's always working in multiples of 4. And I mean that by like abstract reading. So often when I read, it sounds like I can be a little bit dyslexic, but that's how I'm reading, because things are moving all the time. So when I talk about MEDS, I'm talking about music, M for music, E for eating, D for dancing, S for singing. So music, when we talk about music, what communication, what air information is coming into our ears, our mind. When we talk about air and music, so when we listen to music, it's the air that carries that frequency into our being. When we talk about eating, I'm talking about the earth energy. What good stuff are you putting in your body, and what are you rejecting? What are the foundations that you're building on? that gives you nourishing energy from the earth? How are you using the earth to benefit yourself and everyone around you? And D for dancing. So this is like fire energy. This is like applying purpose to your passion and passion to power and powering your position. You know, it's like when you're in the zone, you're in the freaking zone, and it feels like when you're operating with spirit, you're living in your favorite song. Like, or when you hear your favorite song for the first time, it's like goosebumps are transmuting to intellectual creativity. You're feeling the energy and converting it into intellectualities, and then reapplying that back into earth. And then S for singing. So if we're getting all the right information through music and learning, and if we're eating all the right things, we're able to dance easily and properly, and then we're able to sing to the tune of our soul. So, you know, singing is, am I speaking about what I'm living about? Am I reflecting what I'm saying and thinking? Singing is connecting with spirit, is reciprocal, it's expressive, it's sound. So everything works into each other, and it's always at play at all the time. These energies are always operating, except we operate in our own patterns as well. So, you know, you're acknowledging that when you're tapping into this energy, it's like feeling around yourself and with spirit is like so serene. There's no other energy, but spirit's also saying that, you know, you can't live in serene all the time, because that's not being human. You haven't come here, you know, that's not why you're here. You have to come here and do the work. You have to stay grounded to and with humanity to be able to help humanity. And there is a level that you having to be self-centered is the focal of you fixing everything. So there's a sense of bolts of electricity seen course through them. Okay, so this is you connecting the dots. Like, this is you spending time out in the world, and then you coming back in and making sense of all these things. So this gives me the energy of like when you're this is like an abusive relationship in a sense, in terms of energy, because it's hot and then it's cold, and it's hot and it's cold, and it's up and it's down and it's in and it's out. So like finding your equilibrium is important, because at the rate of which you chop and change has to be at the right rate on which helps you, being mindful that your environment also needs to be set up in the way to support you in your operating rhythm. So it's like you need to set up space to be comfortable to operate with spirit and self, and work on you, yourself, and I, and then it's like when you come back out of spirit, you need to tap in and tap into that physical energy. Physical energy is abusive. It's like we wouldn't feel it otherwise, right? The physical wouldn't have any effect if we didn't feel it. So, you know, we have to tolerate a certain level of abuse to have a level of understanding. Now, there's a difference of staying with the abuse and then understanding and then moving away and then finding creative ways to fix it. Now, a lot of the times being the healer, there's a lot of self-sabotage and abuse, because you're having to go through concepts and systems and behaviors and characteristics of yourself to be able to work out what's part of my ego, what's part of my shadow, and what makes me psychic, and what makes me intelligent, and what makes me the healer. And how do I put all of these things together to make a creative outcome? Now, as the healer, you have to be decisive by being indecisive. So it's like when you're suffering something and you're in the midst of the emotions, it's like you can get lost in the emotion because you're not logically thinking about what's actually causing it. you're living in the effect, not by the cause. So the effect is the abuse, but the cause is the problem. And sometimes the problem and the cause aren't able to connect. But as the healer, you're able to do that because you've gone through these experiences, you've stood back, reflected, and then applied some logic, some knowledge, and some emotion. We don't have the right answers straight away, but you're determined by love to keep everyone and everyone else safe. So this is like the goddess. They nurture each other's sensitivity by being present. So this is like this is knowing and trusting your intuition. This is knowing that when you're living as a human, that the signs and symbols that Spirit showing you through your intuition is true and trustworthy. And then it's a sense of knowing that your human body will be safe when you travel to Spirit. So I'm hearing the storyteller warrior. So someone's lacking and isn't being able to be tamed at the moment. So life with them feels adventurous and free. They may feel like fantasy. Enjoy moments of silence together with generosity. Okay. Take that how it resonates. Now there's a sense of so you here with your intelligence and tapping into self, there's a sense of divine power. So the angel card up here is the hidden God in number 4. So your foundations are protected. Guards against mental troubles. So you as the healer has to overcome mental troubles in order to make some sort of sense of the emotions you're experiencing. They enjoy long moments and silence together. So for you to make clarity and sense of this, you need to do it in silence. So Spirit's saying, you and Spirit, the reciprocal energy is fierce and loyal, and it's unmatched to anything on earth. So you acknowledging that and being in your wild self, it's like no one else is playing checkers but you. So it feels like you're unappreciated at most times because you're working on a bigger project or a bigger task, and the people who are feeling mundane and neglected by you are working. They don't really understand what you're doing, and how can they when you're conversing with Spirit and they're not? The work that you do is hard. It's hard. It's hard at first and it brings you peace, and it's hard and it brings you peace. So that's like finding that balance. Something about it just has to flow, and you have to find that balance to stay in the healer intelligent energy. So dance, eat, meds, music, eat, dance and sing. These are the medicines of life that you should apply to bring you peace to your daily life. It'll bring you solitary. Oh, yeah. Okay. So as every healer, every healer has gone through some level of neglect, abuse, and abandonment. It's part of the healer's journey to be able to understand and portray those feelings so that you're able to identify to help others. This is when, it's okay. So by nurturing your inner child and taking that first leap of faith, by acknowledging your burdens and moving towards that divine inner child and releasing all of those inner judgments, you're able to divinely guide your masculine side to preach for your feminine spiritual awareness. There's a sense of like, these are almost opposing. It's cute because it's like the divine inner child on this new journey stepping into the abyss because of the burdens placed on them. It's like you're looking at this and being guided over here. So there's a sense of you having to give. We don't get talents given to us unless our intentions are good to give. So intentions have to be good. And, it's about how you transmuted this pain into your passion. All right. Seductive, feels like a lullaby. Old souls and eternally youthful at the same time. Okay, so this is talking about you coming down in signing the contract from a past life. And you're here to do some work. Your work involves inner and outer fixing. Inner, internal, external. Okay, so I'm hearing inner seductive, external love brings empowerment to others. So inner seduction, by loving yourself, you love others and bring empowerment to all. And that's really reciprocal, receptive energy. So there's a sense of like, there's a sense of you being liberated by this. You're going to feel liberated by the work that you see come back, how effective your work is being. So there's a sense of you feeling safe and secure within the work that you're doing with yourself, with spirit, and you're okay with the burdens you've been carrying. Divine counterparts. So tune out the noise and tune into each other. So look, if in doubt, tune into yourself, and that's when spirit taps in. They may frequently bicker, but they're absolutely hilarious. They rub each other the wrong way, but their love abides. Okay, so that's, like, take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. Hot and hilarious. Okay. So by you tapping in and out of this energy, you're amplifying your strength and your connection to spirit, which is therefore helping others. You're the oracle. You're the oracle healer. That's something you're committed to. Wow, it's alchemic, transformational. Wow. Fairy woman. Okay, so because of this alchemic energy, you're going on a trip. Spirit saying this is the last thing that to keep you aligned for this cycle. It's tantric, demanding, and inspiring. So it's nothing you haven't had before. All right. Let's read. Let's read for these. So, The Solitary Witch Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. That's these black ones here. Okay. Okay. Look closer. She's not lonely. The witch lost in her thoughts. She contemplates this intrinsic steps to a ritual she will... Let me start again. This witch is lost in her thoughts. She contemplates the intrinsic steps to a ritual she will help work. Alone, for someone who needs her work, she thinks it's over quietly, as she often does, tracing her steps of her mind, where she will go, what she will need, and where she will set the time for her the right. And those of you who look and think that she is doing this all alone, look closer, for she has someone with her upon her shoulder who helps at times like these. This wild familiar comes to her, and they together talk until her plans are perfected. You too may seem alone, but look around you. There are wild ones everywhere, speaking to you, and just through spending time with them, you too can plan, contemplate, quietly think through, step by step, a plan that can help another or help you. So the meaning of this card is quiet contemplation, planning, help from the wild friends. I always like to read the reverse of cards because I think it's important. It's relevant. Too much human chatter. You have a deep need for stillness and connection. So that talks about coming back into that energy. Nice. All right, let's look at the magpie. Magpie intelligence. 717 might be a number of significance. Just reading the page numbers of the books, they were rather close, as page 70 and 71. Intelligence, protectiveness, family, finance, legalities, daring, spiritual protection, words, and prophecy. One of the smartest birds in the world, magpies fly into your life with loads of wisdom to share. Their beautiful vocals convey the power of voice. Be mindful of the words you choose, especially when it comes to self-talk. Turn any negative thoughts into higher vibrational phrases that encourage self-love and acceptance. The magpie gifts you with spiritual protection. Magpie asks you to be a bit of a daredevil. If you're sitting in your comfort zone at work or in your personal life, it's time to take a risk. If we never take a chance, we don't grow. Tap into your intelligence and know the risk will help with your growth. As long as you don't put yourself in any danger. Magpies, black and white, plumage signifies duality and asks you to be cautious of tricksters and those who don't have your highest interests in mind. Magpie also advises you to be astute with your finances and legalities. Check that everything is in order, especially in regards to home and security. Call on the magpie energy for your courage to take risks when you need help confronting fears, or when you need to reconnect to other dimensions, especially the unicorns, fairies, or dragons. The advice for the magpie: it is okay to take risks and get out of your comfort zone. The throat chakra and the base chakra. So the colors for this are blue and red. Communication and base root connection. So the mantra: I am astute, aligned with higher goals and ready to take a chance. Let's say again. I am astute, aligned with higher goals and ready to take a chance. One more time. I am astute, aligned with higher goals and ready to take a chance. All right, this is the thinking cube. What does group number 4 need to do, and how do they need to think about this reading? They need to evaluate it. So these are some questions for you. What are the various opinions, and which do you feel is most important? What about that pain and backstabbing? Like the past pain you hold on to? What is Spirit telling you to digest and release? What evidence is there to support this issue, idea, concept, or principle? Just because you can't see it, do you believe it to be true? What can you interpret from this information? How does this make sense to you? What criteria could you use to access this? Sorry, what criteria could you use to assess this? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my content. Girls, ladies, men, empresses, emperors, kings and queens, however you like to identify. Look, just check in with me. Check out the content. It's nice to see we've got more healers in the world, because I feel like that's a heavy burden to carry. All right, I hope you enjoyed the reading, and we'll see you in the next one. All right.